Hare Krishna, everybody. Good morning. Today is August 5th, 2024, and this is Srimad Bhagavatam discussion, Canto number 3, chapter number 19, verse number 36. We'll we'll get started with the invocation prayers. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pramamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo Vishnu padaya Krishna prasthaya bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'd like to welcome everybody once again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let me share my screen. I hope everybody can see my screen. Am Sukaradyam Rujbir Ananya Sharane Nribihi Kritagya Kona Saveta Duraradyam Asa Asadhubihi Tam Sukaradhyam Rujbir Ananya Sharane Nribihi Kritanyah Kona Saveta Duraradyam Asadhubihi Tam Sukaradhyam Rujbir Ananya Sharane Nribihi Kritanya Kona Saveta Duraradhyam Asadhubihi. Synonyms: Tam, unto him; Sukha, easily; Aradhyam, worshipped; Rujbihi, by the unpretentious; Ananya, no other; Sharanyahi, who take shelter; Nirbahi, by men; Kritagnaha, grateful soul; Kaha, what; Na, not; Sevata, would render service; Duradhyam, impossible to be worshipped; Asadhubihi, by the non-devotees. Translation: What grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as the personality of Godhead? The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection. though the unrighteous man finds it difficult to propi propitiate him. Again, I'll read the translation once again. What grateful soul is there who would not render his loving service to such a great master as the personality of Godhead? The Lord can be easily pleased by spotless devotees who resort exclusively to him for protection, though the unrighteous man finds it difficult to propitiate him. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Every living entity, especially persons in the human race, must feel grateful for the benedictions offered by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, anyone with a simple heart of gratefulness must be Krishna conscious and offer devotional service to the Lord. Those who are actually thieves and rogues do not recognize or acknowledge the benedictions offered to them by the Supreme Lord, and they cannot render him devotional service. Ungrateful persons are those who do not understand how much benefit they are deriving by the arrangement of the Lord. They enjoy the sunshine and moonshine, and they get water free of charge, yet they do not feel grateful, but simply go on enjoying these gifts of the Lord. Therefore, they must be called thieves and rogues. Very nice purport, short purport. Um, so in the the previous verses, we see that there is reference that is made to Gajendra, and the fact that the Supreme Lord not only saved Gajendra from the teeth of the alligator, but also uh, blessed Gajendra with the highest benediction because of the service and calling out to the Supreme Lord. And so in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is um, again indicating two aspects. One is the notion of simple heart of gratefulness. And then the second aspect is of taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. So those are the two themes that I will also be focusing on. I was reading on, as I was researching on this particular topic, there was a really nice conversation between Srila Prabhupada and his personal assistant, His Grace Hari Shauri Prabhu. And in that, actually, Hari Shauri Prabhu makes a statement which Srila Prabhupada agrees to, which is gratitude is a sign of intelligence. So, as living entities, we understand that when we take birth, we don't take birth with any possessions. In fact, from the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, even the body is handed down to us along with our capabilities and the vasanas or the proclinations according to our desire, but it's handed down to us by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. So, irrespective of what capabilities we may have or the material circumstance that we may have, it is an endowment. It's something that we've been endowed with. But this notion of gratitude is critical and it's fundamental. And it is fundamental in the sense that it is the basis, the fundament is the basis on which we can actually tap into higher emotional um, feelings of devotion. So gratitude makes the heart fertile in a way that the seeds of bhakti that we sow using the various services that we do, hearing, chanting, serving um, in various capacities. Ultimately, those seeds of bhakti germinate and take shape and sustain with this mood of gratitude. And so I refer to it as the transcendental fertilizer. And the beauty about um, gratitude is that we can start gratitude, we can start with gratitude at a very, um, uh, at a very basic level. Somebody did something nice to us, or somebody, offered prasadam to us, or somebody, helped us with a particular activity or a particular concern. So we can start at a very basic level, but continuing on that path of gratitude can actually open up additional doors and tap into additional feelings. The Sanskrit word for gratitude is kritagnya, and the actual literal translation for that is knowing what has been done. So, there are two aspects to gratitude in this particular case. A is understanding the gratitude from Krishna's side. So we see that as we read Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that Krishna is extremely and eternally grateful for the most tiniest of the acts that we do favorably towards Krishna. So he is aware of every single service that we have done, knowingly or unknowingly, and he reciprocates um, accordingly. And so that's I would say, the extreme. Again, Krishna is where all extremes exist and manifest. So that's one extreme. And then on the other side of the coin is where we are, where we've received a lot. Um, we've received um, thoughtful guidance. We've received acts of kindness from the people around us, the family, the community, the society, country, and then you can similarly expand on that. Um, and then the beauty about the notion of gratitude is also that there are two parts to it. One is that expressing gratitude, one, we become more conscious of what we have received or what we have in our possession, rather than what we don't have or what we have not received. So that's number one. And number two is it provides a medium of connection with the person that we want to build a relationship with, or we want to feel grateful for. And so, there's this notion of um, knowledge and acquisition of knowledge through the medium of building a strong relationship is mediated through this initial um, um, expression of gratitude. Um, A is, just feeling grateful for the fact that Srila Prabhupada has spent, countless hours, um, even at the, you know, very end of his uh, time on this planet, where he was on the deathbed and still translating Srimad Bhagavatam to the very end. So we can feel grateful for all the efforts that Srila Prabhupada has invested, and all the other devotees that have supported Srila Prabhupada in this mission of publishing these books and getting this knowledge out in every town and village. So that's a very basic um, emotion that one can develop just by understanding that, here's all the literature that has been um, very painstakingly, carefully done under very, I would say, excruciating circumstances. So gratitude, and again, this is in Srila Prabhupada's own words, gratitude is a condition of the heart that enables spiritual growth to take place. Again, very similar to this notion of it actually causing our barren heart to become fertile so that our creeper of bhakti can grow. Um, I'll also share a little bit from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and he explains the extent of a devotee's gratitude. He says that even if a devotee serves Krishna for 1,000 universal creations, he cannot repay the debt he feels towards Krishna for having received the opportunity to serve the Lord's lotus feet. So again, this is um, again, many times we can also feel, we can take for granted. This chanting becomes a chore. Some of our devotional services becomes a chore. And um, if we were to contemplate on some of these teachings of our acharyas, which again here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that actually it is impossible for each of us to repay what Krishna has endowed us with. And not only what Krishna has endowed us with, in this particular age, what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has endowed us with. This through this medium of chanting of the holy name, having able to access the topmost in um, in our topmost aspect of spirituality. Um, and then the another let's call it as another lever of gratitude here is you know we every day in the morning for Mangalarti uh, we pay our obeisances to the spiritual master, and um, the spiritual master is compared to this rain-bearing cloud. We may be in a forest fire, and likely the forest might be in proximity to a massive ocean. But when we are in the midst of a forest fire, the fact that there is a vast ocean, that is, you can even see the ocean, but it's actually of not much use. However, if there is a rain-bearing cloud and the rain-bearing cloud showers the forest with the rain, then we can have relief from the forest fire. And that is the position of a spiritual master. The spiritual master is compared as a rain-bearing cloud that is able to take the water from the ocean and then shower it on souls who are either deserving or not deserving, to put out the uh, fire of material existence. And so this feeling of gratitude is a great emotion to tap into, that can then set up one to properly receive the mercy that is coming our way, to properly see the mercy that is coming our way. That then helps one, further um, progress in our spiritual life. Now, in order to have gratitude, um, there has to be certain level of understanding of what one has received too. So, if somebody, has done something that is obviously, somebody gives us a plate of prasadam that is fully decked up, obviously we feel very grateful. But sometimes, we may go at the prasadam counter and the prasadam is done, and we may probably just get some rice. How can we feel grateful in that instance? So even to feel grateful when circumstances are not overtly favorable requires some level of sambandha gyan, or understanding of the um, deeper truths. Maybe maybe uh, it is a good fact that I received little prasadam last night was good for my waist. It was fine. I wasn't actually doing any major services, and my body just needed so many calories. So I can sleep early and I can wake up early and continue my sadhana. So there's it's a self-perpetuating thing here to cultivate gratitude. Cultivation of gratitude unlocks mercy, or mercy in form of, let's say, sambandha. And as we get more Sambandha Gyan, or knowledge of uh, the relationship, understanding the relationship with the Supreme, understanding the relationship with of the Supreme with uh, the material energy. So, and the relationship of the Atma with the super soul, the soul with the super soul. So this understanding of this Sambandha um, is also, this Sambandha Gyan actually should stir more gratitude in our hearts. And with that, then we move on to the next step of Abhideya, which is, how to execute in devotional service. And then finally, Prayojana, which is the topmost truth of the loving devotional service, being situated in loving devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So um, that's one part. And then the second aspect here is of understanding that the Supreme Lord is my only shelter. And again, this is a much more advanced um, feeling of understanding that the Supreme Lord is my protector. Because again, without humility, without gratitude in the heart, one cannot build a relationship. One cannot build a relationship with uh, the personalities who want to provide us the Sambandha Gyan and who want to provide us with these uh, deeper knowledge. And um, in order to be situated in the Sambandha Gyan, the first step is that of um, gratitude. And in this particular verse, we the unrighteous man finds it difficult to propitiate him. And again, an ungrateful man or unrighteous man, uh, in this particular case, Srila Prabhupada is saying that they do not understand how much benefit they are deriving by the arrangement of the Lord. They enjoy the sunshine and moonshine and they get free water, yet they do not feel grateful, but they simply go on enjoying these gifts of the Lord. Therefore, they must be called thieves and rogues. And so this ignorance, right? This is ignorance. Or this could also be, just stubborn, um, stubbornness, just stubbornly unwilling to open the eyes. Um, there's a saying that you cannot wake up a person who is pretending to sleep. You can wake up a person who is actually sleeping, but you cannot wake up a person who is pretending to sleep. So similarly, for people who have determined to close their eyes, it is actually very little that can be done. But however, we still continue on this mission under the instructions of the spiritual master to again share the wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and educate people about Sambandha and the higher truths associated with it. So that at least for people who are not pretending to sleep, because again, we may all be engrossed, we were all engrossed in our material pursuits at some point in time. And then somehow or the other, somebody, opened the door a little bit for us that we peeked in and we liked it. Maybe we didn't like it at first. Maybe we liked the prasadam first. Maybe we didn't like the Sambandha Gyan first. Maybe we like Kirtan. But no matter what, we started in a favorable way, and we felt grateful for the person who opened the door. And that actually then kickstarts our bhakti process. So anyway, I wanted to focus on this simple heart of gratefulness, which is very, very critical at every uh, stage of bhakti, and it's an relatively, I would say, easier emotion to tap into, and starting with some very gross reciprocations that we've received, but then slowly using our intelligence, which is through the eyes of the Shastra Chakshushu, we can actually be grateful for not just the good things that happen to us, but also the not so good things that happen to us, and be able to see the hand of Krishna, the hand of the mercy, in all circumstances. So I just wanted to stop there and see if there are any thoughts and comments.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Uh, Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice class, Prabhu. I was thinking, many thoughts came to me, but I think the latest one was, and we hear from Rupa Goswami this nectar of instruction, right? Like the giving and receiving, confiding and listening in confidence, and offering prasadam and receiving prasadam. I was thinking, it might seem rudimentary, but actually speaking, if it is done in the proper mood and is received in the proper mood, how it can really nourish gratitude in our hearts. So that was one thought. And the second thought was, there's one senior disciple of Maharaj who says that, your parents, their job was basically to bring you to this world. Some people may say, I did not receive this, I did not receive that. Maybe we have some shortcomings in our upbringing or whatever. But this devotee says that the very fact that they have allowed you to come, they have been the conduits through which you have this material body in itself is, they have done their duty. And therefore, that itself is good enough to feel grateful. And so I was thinking that, from what I like the phrase that you're using, the fertilizer to receive the mercy. And it almost seems like, we have to be conscious of it. Uh, like Maharaj says, initially you teach a child to just say thank you and they parrot it. But ultimately, we have to understand that really nobody owes us anything. The world doesn't owe us anything. But actually speaking, we are the ones that are recipients. That comes with some amount of consciousness, that I am here alive because of the many, many, many gifts that I've received unknowingly and knowingly. And so, yeah, many other thoughts coming, but I think I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I really like that point. I feel that just based on what you discussed, what you just shared, um, gratitude is actually a great emotion that can force us to exercise our consciousness muscle. It forces us to be conscious, be a little bit introspective. So that's a really nice point. Thank you so much. Lakshmikant Prabhu, you was beginning to say something.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. So, thank you, Mataji. I think I was just thinking about when you mentioned about, thank you, Prabhu, first of all, for the very nice class. So, you gave that example of prasadam, right? So, I was just thinking about it's very difficult to be grateful when one is in difficult situation, right? So you got prasadam for 9 times, but 10th time you did not get, you're hungry, right? You're in line, and then you will kind of, of course, if we remember the 9 times, well, of course, then we will be grateful. But generally, it's difficult in those situations, right? So to remember those things, and then we'll think about it. I'm not talking about just prasadam. I'm just talking about in difficult situations. You gave the example, so it's very difficult to be grateful in those circumstances. You talked about sambandha gnana. Having right sambandha gnana will help us to be grateful. Maybe if you can just elaborate on that, Prabhu. From philosophically, it is true, right? Whatever. The example Mataji gave also, right? Just having this body, we should be grateful to our parents, right? But it's very difficult to. We are not there, right? Not that consciousness. So maybe if you can just elaborate on that, Prabhu, that would be.
Yeah. So, for example, Krishna says in the seventh chapter, right? Bhumi rapo nala vayu, kama mano buddhi revacha ahankara iti me bhinna prakriti asada. Like, uh, again, this understanding that, all of this, understanding that, this material body that I have, the capacities that I have, facilities that I have, the air that I'm breathing, the water that I'm drinking, even the sense of false ego that we have, all of these are actually coming from Krishna. Uh, that knowledge is important to then understand, oh my God, this is actually, I thought this was all my, that all belonged to me. Like I was not It just happened by chance, like through a big bang. But no, actually, these have actually been endowed to me. That knowledge then further sows the, more feelings of gratitude, right? Um, and sometimes we may do things for our children, and they may not be aware of it. But sometimes, we actually share, what, when you were sleeping or when you were away, this is what your father did or your mother did. So we point to, sometimes children may be so transactional that they may not be observant of what's actually gone behind the scenes. Your mother may say, oh, you know what, your father actually worked really hard, and here's some of the challenges he went through, and so I'm really grateful for what he has done to you, and perhaps you should also share some gratitude. So again, some kind of knowledge is provided by the mother or father. In this case, maybe the various gurus that we encounter in our lives. Um, uh, they point to the various knowledge, or various reciprocations or gifts that we've received, and then that further um, entrenches us in this mood of gratitude. Gratitude, that's why it's a self-perpetuating machine here. Start with gratitude. We have access to knowledge. We have some basic gratitude. We have, to access knowledge. And as we understand more, we feel, the sense of gratitude has to be front and central. Without accessing gratitude, it's very difficult to make any progress in spiritual life. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yeah,
The
I'm just trying to.
connection between knowledge and
Yeah,
and
that is, yeah, that I understood. Okay. Yeah, okay. Got it, bro. I think that way you're. Okay.
all right.
Thank
So 8:04, and I would like to stop here. Again, thank you so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Hare Krishna.